Welcome back to the Road Show. This morning in the Buzz, it's been over a month and oil continues to gush into the Gulf of Mexico after a massive explosion and fire.
It's affecting fishermen, wildlife, and tourism all along the Gulf Coast. So far, every attempt to plug the leak has failed.
And even if the latest idea from engineers works, experts say oil will continue to flow into the water off the coast of Louisiana. I know, until August. Engineers from BP are now moving forward. They're using a robotic saw to slice small pipes. They'll put a cap over the oil well and use a new pipe to siphon the oil to the ships on the surface. Excuse me. But the company says they're not sure how successful the plan will be.
What we're not certain of is the effectiveness of the seal onto the top of the LMRP and how much will go up the pipe and how much may escape around the edges. That's the big uncertainty.
Because it's not a tight mechanical
Because it's not a fully tight mechanical seal.
Meantime, today, President Obama will meet with the people he appointed to investigate what some are calling the worst environmental disaster in America in decades.
All right, so we want to know, are they doing enough, and who should be doing more? Should the government be doing more? Many consumers are pushing for a boycott of BP. Does this kind of effort make any difference?
Here's my thing on this, okay? If you can get the well down there in the first place, all right?
Yeah.
And you can get a camera down there so we can all see this oil spewing into the Gulf of Mexico, why can't they get down there and plug this thing up? Why can't they just turn it off? There's got to be. How come when you build these things, you don't have a chamber after chamber? Right.
Something.
You just, you know, it's like I think of like the you go to the magic show where the magician slides the metal thing down into the box and then cuts the lady in half.
This is Engineering 101.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Patrick. This is why I went to college. And you know, anyway, stop the leak. I just don't get it. I don't want to see the video anymore of the camera down there. You know,
it's nauseating. Isn't it physically nauseating?
There's another million gallons in case you're keeping score at home.
Constantly going. It's incredible.
August. I mean, that's mind-boggling.
That's when it's going to stop leaking.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be in the ocean for years.
Oh, years and years. As a matter of fact, they went up to the Exxon Valdez spill, CBS did, not too long ago. And they turned over, up in Alaska, they turned over just a single rock along the shore. And the oil was still right there.
When did that happen? 1987?
Yeah, and that was significantly smaller than what we're seeing here. I think the question on this end, just like you're saying, is this is the wrong end to be asking the questions. You know, not who should be doing more, should the government get involved. Listen, there should have been regulations in the first place to say that there's some sort of shut-off valve, because I think the reason that they can't fix this problem is that it's so deep underwater. There are certain things that you deal with under that kind of pressure
it's a mile down,
that you don't have to deal with, you know, in a shallower surface, and it's just gushing with this intense force. But it is so sickening to see this red substance just come to the surface and just keep going.
You see the photos of the wildlife?
Well, we haven't seen the worst of it. I'm telling you, it's going to get worse as more pictures come out of the animals, like we saw them cleaning off the pelicans. What was the story you said when you were traveling this weekend? You saw BP stations with.
Oh, it was very interesting. Yeah, in New York over the weekend, BP stations were having those bouncy houses and inviting kids to come and play in the gas stations and that sort of thing. And they were doing all sorts of outreach because, you know, they know where they're at. Except the only problem is, people want to, they're saying, you know, boycott BP. The problem is this oil comes from so many different places that if you boycott BP, it really doesn't do anything. That's what some are saying. I think it might still
I think a lot of the bickering, too, between all the head honchos has gotten in the way the last couple of weeks, anyway.
Yeah. And I'm not a big fan of the president, okay, but this isn't his problem. I'm sorry. He's got a lot of other things to worry about. Yeah. You know, he didn't go down there and build this well. They talk about regulations and all that. But, I mean, you know, he's got a bigger fish to fry, I think, than, I mean, I know it's a natural disaster, but.
Well, I think when you talk about the economy being tied into it and the fact that this is such a concern, who else but the president?
Well, I mean, how does he know how to fix a well?
Yeah, that's
true.
I
mean, it's the oil company. Figure it out already.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Courtney, I want to throw this over to you because I know that, you know, we're certainly fired up about this, and it's something that's so concerning when you see this video every single day.
Absolutely. It's really sad and it's really hard to watch, and we have a ton of angry viewers this morning on the live blog and on Facebook. There's so many comments there, and I do want to get through to them. So I'll read about one right now on foxprovidence.com from the live blog. This one's from Smoky Wolves, and she says, "No one is doing enough by me. Does anyone care about the ecosystem that's so badly damaged? It'll never come back." She says, "Look at Alaska. It's been 22 years since their spill, and when you go back there, there's still tons of oil out there after all that time." We also have a poll right underneath the live blog if you're just joining us, and we're asking you, what do you think about the efforts to stop the Gulf oil leak? A, BP isn't doing enough to fix it. B, the government should be doing more to help. Or C, I think that can be done, all that can be done is in the works, is the last one there. Here's a snapshot of our Facebook page right now. Tons of comments. Let's see if we can get through them. Luis Santiago says, what effort? It looks like they're experimenting on ways to stop it. They absolutely have no clue. Corey Freitas says it should be mandatory that oil companies have plans in case of situations like this. If you want to weigh in and let us know how you feel, you can do so on the poll, on the live blog, or Facebook, but I'll be back with those poll results about a half hour. For now, we're going to head